Hi folks, Dave the Stamp Slave, and I've got a video about the owl punch, the two-step owl punch from Stampin' Up, obviously. Had a request to do a video about this just to give some ideas about different things that you could do with it. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to call this the Paula Project. So Paula, here's your video. Actually, it'll probably turn out to be more than one, maybe 2 or 3, because I found an awful lot of stuff out there. And this thing's been out for a while now, so there are quite a few videos out about it. We'll try to do a little bit different spin on it. So, starting out, very, very versatile tool here. You can see all of the different goodies that are in it. This is, the owl's body. You could use this as a vest or something like that, or, maybe it's just the plumage on the front of the owl, the normal plumage. Got a bunch of different size circles here that you can create eyes or just all kinds of stuff with. If you wanted to use this for something else, you could use it for wheels. Anything where you need little tiny circles, you're great. But for eyes, you've got, maybe the pupils. The pupils would be these guys, irises, and the whites or the sclera of the eye. Even a little heart. So Valentine's is coming up. Maybe we can figure out something to do with that. So I'm going to start out by just taking a piece of paper here, and let's just punch out one of everything. And I tend to try to get things where I'm not using any more paper than I have to. I'm going to cover this because they tend to jump all over the place if I don't. And let's just dump it out and see what we've got. Okay, so I've got the body, and then there's that vest I was talking about, and then all my little circles. Okay, and the other one's right here. Here it is. Like I say, they tend to bounce around a little bit. And of course the heart. So that's one of everything. Now, what I usually find is, and I haven't been doing this a lot, but I find that I need a lot more of these than I do anything else when I'm, putting together eyes and that sort of thing. So I went ahead and punched a bunch of them, and I just have my little stash that I keep. So you might want to think about that, kind of plan ahead and see what different things you need, and go ahead and try to stamp everything at one time. Punch everything at one time. So let me set this aside, and I'm going to go ahead and punch out a few more things so that I can show you a couple things with this. Let's get another body here. Like so. And then I want a couple of different colors for the vest, because I'm going to do that twice. Show you a couple different things here, so let me get a couple of those. And I'll get that's actually going to be the plumage, and then I'll make this the vest. How can I get it in there to use the least amount of paper? I drive Ann crazy with this because I'm always trying to figure out how to use the least paper I can. Okay, that should get us started. Now let's pick out the stuff we're going to keep here. And then I'll just get rid of the rest of it for now. Okay, and I'll shove these off to the side. And first I'm just going to make a fairly basic owl. So I'll use this guy, and let me turn this around since I'm working upside down from your perspective here. So there's your owl, and we're going to call this just the owl's plumage. Okay, so that's going to go on there like that. Now, if you wanted to, you could, move it up a little bit if you're trying to make it into some sort of a vest or something like that. I'm just going to use it that way. So let me go ahead and tack that down just to make things easier. It won't move around as much. Okay, and I'm going to work fairly quickly here, so you'll have to forgive me if I don't get things lined up exactly right, but I just don't want the video to come out to be 7 hours long. So, okay, so I've got that done. Now I need a couple of eyes for them, and I've already made a couple, but let me just show you how I do it. I'm going to use a white iris here so that it'll look good on the background. Here's what the finished product will look like. And I'm going to take my little stash. Like I said, these caps are great. I like to keep these around because I can use them for stuff like this. Just put a little Tombow in there. Stuff dries fairly quickly, so it's good for this kind of a project. And I'm going to use this paper piercer to pick things up and make them easier for me to move them around. And I don't want to get too much on there since this thing is so small. So I'll pick up the pupil there, and then I'm just going to set that down kind of where I want it. And then even though it dries quickly, I've got a second or two to push things around and make sure it's kind of what I'm after. Okay? So that's all it is. And I imagine you all have probably done a lot of that stuff. Now, I also find it's a good idea to keep a paper towel handy if I'm using the tool to get glue and so forth. Otherwise, the next time I touch something, it's going to stick. So I try to keep this thing cleaned off pretty well. All right, let me turn this around where I can see it to work on it here. And I'll pick these guys up. And you may notice that in this, at the top of this, there's kind of a concave area there. Makes a nice place to put the eyes down too. Don't have to do it that way, but that's what I'm choosing for this one. Okay, and there's our first owl. Very simple, very basic, but pretty cute. Okay, all right, I'm going to set this guy over here so that I have a little room to work. And let's come back to this guy. Now this guy we're going to dress up a little bit. He's getting ready to go out on the town. And so we're going to give him a red vest instead of just those little feathers there. So I've got his vest all set up here. Let me stick that down. Oops. How about if I do it right side up? And pardon my hands being in their way for just a second. Okay. All right, and I've got another pair of eyes that I put together earlier that we can do like so. But I kind of like, see in this one, actually both of them, see this little notch? It kind of looks like his beak, which makes a lot of sense. But I wanted to make that a little bit more pronounced. So what I'm going to do here is take this piece that I cut earlier out of, and all I did for this was I took a piece of a color that I thought would work well for a beak, and I just whacked off the corner of it, and then I trimmed it down. I did want the corner, that point, so then I just trimmed from the point upward to make this narrower to where it would look more like a beak. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let me get a little glue for that, and we'll stick that on there. That may be a little bit excessive. Again, I'll turn this where I can work on it a little bit better. Yeah, I'm going to put that kind of right at the top there of that vest, if you will. So it will look right when we get his eyes back in there. And if you wanted to, you could actually put the eyes kind of on top of it there. Oh, come on, it's sticking on me. Sorry about that. All right, something like that. And I'm not going to take the time to glue those down because, like I said, I want to keep this the length of this video reasonable. Now, I also thought I might be able to use this punch. Okay, and you may have actually seen this used on some cards and so forth. So I went ahead and punched out a couple of the branches. And let me just get a pretend card here. Even though we're not really doing a card, let me get the effect here. Oh, for Pete's sake. Okay. And I can bring this branch in from the side or whatever. Like so. And now we've got him sitting on a branch. Okay. But how do you get up there without any wings? Well, I went back and I punched out a couple of these. Went back and punched out a couple of these, which is actually the wing for the bird, but it will work in this case. And let's give our guy a couple of wings like so. Voila. Anyway, pretty simple, but you get the idea. All right, thanks for watching that, and we'll see you in the next video.